USCG volunteers head back to Puerto Rico to distribute needed supplies with the help of the local pastor. The Ministry of Interior sets up a pedestrian crossing guiding system in 6 major cities in Taiwan. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Lori Chen. Thank you for joining us. Puerto Rico was ravaged by Hurricane Maria back in 2017. USCG volunteers have been continuously caring for the affected residents all the way up until now. They have made many trips there to distribute needed supplies and financial assistance. This time, with the help of the local pastor, volunteers were led straight to the affected families' homes who had the most urgent needs. Let's check out the recovery status.
Pues la casa de ellos fue afectada. Ellos son 2 hijos. Ella se llama Edith.
Their house was affected. There are 2 children. Her name is Edith. We built this staircase. I built it with a group that came from the United States, and we repaired the house as well. Tzu Chi is like a ministry that comes to Puerto Rico to help the population. We give you this solar-powered light. Michael, hold it, please. This light runs on solar power. When the electricity goes out, you do not have to run looking for the generator because you will already have light from this. There you will have a light that you can see to install them in some areas in the hallway, in the kitchen, and even go out with it. It can be very useful. What is left standing here is part of the old house. It was restored so that it can still be livable for her, while at the same time we're building a new house. For 15 years, she has been taking care of her mother.
I cannot leave her alone because she sometimes starts coughing, and I have to give her breathing treatments. The neighbor is providing me with electricity because she needs the air conditioning on 24/7 due to her skin condition. I get very nervous when the lights go out. We need this $800 to buy more materials and other necessities. I'm afraid that she will be gone and she will not be able to use it.
There are many people that need to have daily treatment, so it's stressful when the electricity goes out. The most pressing need is for them to have renewable energy services. Now we're going to another affected resident's house. His name is Ruben. His wife is bedridden. We had to take his wife to our home to care for her when we built their new home. When the lights go out, you will have the solar lights as backup, since they can automatically be charged with the sunlight. You can have them fully charged and ready for use. You can have several of them around. Ruben has been a man of God who has been faithfully taking care of his wife. We have a lot to learn from people like Ruben.
I just finished feeding her, and yes, she does recognize me. You do not know me anymore, Hilda? Who am I, Hilda? Who am I? I bathe her. I keep her clean. I love her very much. I'm happy with her. She loves me very much as well.
Todas estas personas que yo he conocido, las he conocido producto del desastre.
All these people that I met them due to the disaster, due to Hurricane Maria. Otherwise, I would not have met them. Many people talk about the negative things of Hurricane Maria, but I talk about the positive things. It has allowed us to meet all of you, to meet many new people. Within the negative, we must choose to see the positive side of things.
Lastly, in Myanmar, many villagers have suffered from various flood incidents. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers have conducted various mung bean seed distributions in order to help the affected farmers. This time, they're back to distribute rice seeds. One of the farmers who had received help from Tzu Chi 10 years ago is reciprocating by donating 50 baskets of rice seeds himself.
I sincerely invite all of the residents to do good deeds. It doesn't matter how much money you want to donate. Let's cultivate good thoughts and help more people in need.
The residents pay full attention to the volunteer speech. All of them are farmers from Seilonggi village of Danyulin Township. The volunteers inviting them to donate rice to do good deeds.
A milk bottle can be filled with about 8,000 rice seeds. As we save up more rice seeds, the number can grow to 80,000, 800,000, or even 8 million. The power of love can be spread around. I hope we can deliver love to all corners of the world.
Wu Minglun invited me to participate in the year-end blessing ceremony. After coming back from the event, I asked him for 5 rice containers to reciprocate the kindness from Tzu Chi. From now on, I want to invite more people in my village to do good deeds with Tzu Chi volunteers.
Yu Minwen was the one who initiated this gathering. In 2009, he received the rice seeds from Tzu Chi volunteers, which had helped his family tremendously. Life has changed for the better ever since. Therefore, he wants to give back and help more people in need. Last year, he participated in the mung bean seeds distribution with the volunteers. Moreover, he had visited Taiwan to meet Dharma Master Zheng Yan. This year, his goal is to continue to spread the spirit of unconditional giving to everyone.
My wife agreed with me to donate the rice seeds. I'll donate 50 baskets of rice seeds. I believe after giving them to Tzu Chi, we'll help more people in need.
Yu Minwen's compassionate giving had influenced his brother, who also received the mung bean seeds last year. He was going to donate his harvest mung beans to Tzu Chi, but after knowing this year's distribution changed to delivering rice seeds, he changed his plan.
After hearing from my brother that Tzu Chi is distributing rice seeds this year, I changed my plan. As I was going to donate the mung bean seeds, now I will donate 20 buckets of rice seeds. I hope these can help the flood-affected residents to overcome the challenges.
While putting the rice seeds inside the bags given by Tzu Chi, Yu Minwen hopes to help more villages in Myanmar. With the power of love, kindness can be spread across the country.
In our continuous series on water resources around the world, we have made our way back to Taiwan. Today we will be exploring the intelligent irrigation system within the Jiangnan Plains. Let's check out our in-depth report. Ling Quinde and Guo Chang'an, who are both Jiayi Xingang farmers, are already 70 years old. They have known each other since childhood and have been farming ever since they were teenagers. Guo has another job. He is an irrigation worker for the Jiangnan irrigation system. And he is responsible for delivering water.
The water comes from over there and is divided into 4 waterways. It's okay that everyone consumes water, and sometimes, when there's not enough water, we allocate it like this with only 2 channels. And if there still isn't any water, we just use 1 channel. We have to observe this. That is our job.
The Jiangnan irrigation system promises to provide water every day, but farmers there are still very much afraid of no water.
People can't live without water, and the rice crops won't grow either. If there's not enough water, we'll alert the station master. Early on, we lacked water, and it messed with the motors we used to spray water.
Ling Quinder's farm is at the end of the irrigation system, and he is frequently the one who lacks water, as his farm is known as the tail of the waterway. In order to solve this lack of water, he has to pump underground water to make up for this deficiency.
If there is water from the irrigation channel, I'm going to use it just like others, but I won't compete for the water or argue with them. I'll just use water from the well.
The Jiayi Tainan Plain was the largest rice-producing area in Taiwan, with 74,000 hectares of irrigated land. But it is also the most water-scarce agricultural area, with farmers having few options before the Zhengwen Reservoir and the Wusantou Reservoir were built.
The Zhenwen Reservoir released water through a section of the river about 5 kilometers before in this eastern area. We made a tunnel into the Zhenwen River and it entered the Wushantou Reservoir. And then what was very important is the complete water network to have a dense water distribution system throughout the Jiayi Tainan Plain.
From the Wushantou Reservoir flowing out through the Jianan irrigation system and then dividing into the north and south branches, it was able to irrigate the whole Jiayi Tainan area.
Xingang is the last stop. The water is most scarce here as it comes from the northern branch and goes to the Xingang line all the way to Hozhuang, where there is an irrigation gate, as this area is the end of the irrigation system.
The Jiayi Tainan Plains relies on the Jianan irrigation system to deliver water resources, with 56 irrigation stations, 667 water teams, each attending some 1,902 classes, with more than 1,000 irrigation workers controlling 7,000 water gates. Irrigation workers have to patrol the fields 3 times a day. Not only must they pay attention to whether anyone's stealing water, but then most importantly, relying upon their experience to evenly distribute the water.
Normally, we will all divide the water resources using each channel at a time and then cutting it off. If a farmer says that his field is not yet flooded, we may wait another 2 days and wait for this one to finish the water and then change it to this one in different batches.
The result of relying on these irrigation workers to distribute water means that the first rice cultivation in Jiayi and Tainan area, a 28% reduction in water use, achieved a historical record. This indicates the system is quite efficient for this area.
The current irrigation mode is extensive and is not a sophisticated monitoring system. It is simply directly sent to the farmland. In fact, they do not know whether the amount of water irrigated is very efficient. If we can overcome those problems, we can probably achieve another 10% in water savings.
Cherishing every drop of water is a concept the academic community and the Water Resources Agency are working hard to promote. For example, this paddy of the Wushantou Reservoir has been a test area in recent years to conduct water-saving experiments involving local farmers association.
Pulling out this plug, the water automatically goes into the field.
This is the traditional way of controlling water resources, but many are looking for new practices.
Traditionally, irrigation water must rely on irrigation workers to manually control water levels, but now this can be done remotely through the cloud by this cell phone app.
It's convenient to use a mobile phone, and you don't have to patrol the field. You can control the water with your mobile phone.
Of course, there are equipment in the field, including water flow meters and water level gauges to observe the water level in the field.
In addition, water levels can be accurately observed through ultrasonic waves, and the signal can be transmitted to the cloud via a solar power system, so that the water discharge in the channel can be controlled remotely.
It can be observed by installing a simple seesaw at the end. For example, if you run out of the channel and start straining, it may be wasted. We can ask the irrigation staff at the front lines to take control to save water.
In order to retain every drop of water flowing into the farmland, a multi-pronged approach to irrigation is needed to face the challenges that extreme climate will bring to humanity. Street intersections can be extremely hazardous for visually impaired individuals. In order to help them with a higher quality of street safety, the Ministry of Interior set up a pedestrian crossing guiding system in 6 major cities.
It is a challenge for the visually impaired to walk on the street with a walking stick.
When I must cross the street, it is daunting if I can't tell where the crosswalk is. Some people would come over and ask me if I need any help. I'd ask him to help me, but inside, I still feel I can't cross the street by myself.
Tzu Chi's words reflect the feelings of many visually impaired individuals in Taiwan. They always hope to be independent, but first they must receive some mobility trainings before they can go out alone.
He needs to use a lot of information, such as the distance of sound from vehicles, or his sense of direction, etc., to help him. But sometimes it can misguide him and make him stray away from his intended path and injure him.
是一些危险的发生。那我们就可以沿着这个纵向斑马线呢，到达对面的这个人行道。
真的有这个？
是。
To help blind people cross the street, the Ministry of Interior came up with a plan that 2 or 3 textile guiding lines are added to a crosswalk.
先用滑的，有没有比较明显一点？
有。
The sound from sliding the walking stick over a textile guiding line is different. The thickness of a normal line on the crosswalk is below 0.2 centimeter, but that of the textile guiding line is 0.4 to 0.6 centimeter. And its anti-skid coefficient is also very high to prevent people from falling down.
The traditional crosswalks are designed from the view of vehicle users, but this one is designed for the pedestrians and the habits of blind people crossing the street. We made some changes and installed them in areas with concentrated population.
The agency chose to try it in the 6 metropolises, such as Xingye District in Taipei, Luzhu in Taoyuan, Xitun in Taichung, Anping in Tainan, and Sanmin in Kaohsiung. Another one is being planned in New Taipei City. To make changes at the crosswalks, you will need to answer questions from other road users.
When you drive near the crosswalk, you must reduce your speed. In the city, the speed limit is at 40 or 50 kilometers per hour. If you drive at that speed, it won't make much a difference.
I can feel it with my walking stick or my feet. If all the crosswalks can have all the 3 textile guiding lines, I will become very happy, and it will be a blessing to all the visually impaired individuals in the country.
The textile guiding lines are on a trial run until mid-February. Then the government will evaluate its result and if it should be made into traffic laws. We must truly understand the need of visually impaired people before we can create a true barrier-free environment.
In the aftermath of the February 6, 2018 Hualien earthquake, the 4 major collapsed buildings have all been transformed into parking lots. There are no more physical traces of the earthquake when one walks around Hualien now. Therefore, local Hualien artists were inspired to document the event for the history books. This led one contemporary video artist to launch the 2019 Fault Line Art Festival. The artists hope that through art, the public can learn to peacefully coexist with the fault and also to soothe the hard to erase painful memories of that fateful night. The Festive Islands is describing a series of islands located in the Western Pacific Ocean. They were formed along the Ring of Fire. On the map, they're arranged just like a garland, with Taiwan located in the middle section. The massive February 6, 2018 Hualien earthquake, linked to the Milun Fault, inspired an artist to launch the 2019 Fault Line Art Festival.
Earthquakes actually allow us to live on this land. For the people that live around this Milun Fault, we feel scared. However, from geology's point of view, it's thanks to the constant earthquakes that we have the formation of all these islands. Today, it's the reason for having all these countries to live in. The actual emotions scare us, but we have to recognize it has been creating new life for thousands of years already, creating places where we humans can live in.
Curator Li Demao went from being an engineer to becoming a contemporary video artist. When Hualien's earthquake hit, he personally felt the violent shaking.
The epicenter was exactly where we are standing right now. However, our houses shook terribly. It was swaying back and forth violently. It just did not stop. I remember it was about 3 days, yes, 3 days, where the aftershocks, one after another, just did not stop.
The art festival is displaying a total of 3 large installation art pieces. Among them, it includes the creation from the Japanese artist Kayako Nakashima. Her installation piece, Layer, was inspired by the collapsed Yunmen Cuiti complex.
The building had the biggest impact on me. When the Hualien earthquake happened, I was in Japan. I was watching the whole ordeal from the TV, and I saw the collapsed building. It was completely leaning to one side. I just stood there staring at the image. I was shocked at the sight. However, when I finally made it to Hualien, there were no visible sign of the collapsed building. It was just a flat, empty space now. Everything was gone. Suddenly, I felt quite lonely in that space.
Carefully gluing on the various styles of tiles to the low wall, the different tile designs symbolize the foundations of the different collapsed buildings. However, Nakashima believes that this land is still an ideal home for the next generation.
Although there's nothing left there anymore, but time does not lie, because this event that took place here has already become part of history, and historical events are just like what each family experiences from their day-to-day lives. The memories are stacked up layer by layer as time goes on. That was the reason why I call my installation art piece Layer.
The 4 major buildings that collapsed during the earthquake are all now turned into parking lots, leaving no physical traces, but the painful memories are still present.
For the people that are interested in understanding and studying what happens after an earthquake of that magnitude hit, they physically can't. All the evidence have been erased because there are no more physical traces of the earthquake ever happening. It's as if people have completely forgotten about it. As for me personally, I'm still not over the shock and panic emotions that the earthquake caused. For example, I was in my room today and I heard the train pass by. When it did, the window shook a little and I was instantly scared.
However, when facing dark moments, there will always be people who remind us the positive memories of what home felt like. It's like shining a light in the darkest corners. One such individual is Hualien native Wang Yusong. His art festival creation takes you on a beautiful scenery ride of Hualien.
To me, Hualien will always be home. Whenever I come back here, I'm instantly flooded with memories. It's a land that is very meaningful to me. So when I'm creating art pieces about Hualien, a huge part comes from my memories of this place. I get inspirations from what has happened here before, so naturally the feeling of home will speak through.
近看你会看到现在草坡上有一排的灯管到那边的楼梯。
Playing between what is real and imaginary, each light tube one by one neatly arranged into a line formation, which happens to be exactly on top of the Miluan fault line. Using lighting techniques, installation artist Liu Zihong brings the public into a fantasy space, while not forgetting to remind us that we are constantly coexisting with the fault.
It can be completely hidden during the daytime, hidden within this environment. However, once the power is on or at nighttime, it will become a visible line, a line that marks off a section, such as a fault or a riverbank. It is actually something that always present in our daily lives. It can be thought of in many forms. Maybe it's a painful experience, or maybe it's a type of hidden anxiety or stress. Sometimes it's actually a bit like a question, or say it's a type of attitude when one is presented with challenges.
Art has the power to both soothe people's hearts and leave a record in history. The affected residents of the island are trying their best to stand up again after the violent shakes, putting back the missing pieces in preparation for a better future. The pain and suffering from the earthquake are now a part of history, so it's time to march forward and start anew. Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers have long been actively promoting good moral character education to local schools. This is because doing good deeds for others should be cultivated from a young age. For one of the schools, it's been their 7th straight year in collecting their compassionate givings through bamboo coin banks. These accumulated daily good thoughts really does make a huge difference in changing the world for the better, one small gesture at a time. Thank you for watching. See you next time.